Apple Watch reviews. There's nothing the company can't turn to gold. But with the Apple Watch, its first foray into wearables, 2 years after Pebble smashed the market wide open, Apple faces its toughest challenge yet. The build quality is superb, and the footprint of both the 38mm and 42mm watch is much smaller than you'd expect, and it goes some way to excuse the thickness of the design. We tested a 38mm watch with a green silicon band, noteworthy because it's the cheapest of the lineup at $349. At 38mm the watch is rather dainty, and most men will certainly prefer the 42mm band, which also benefits from a larger battery. The main elephant in the room is that price tag. With a basic 42mm Apple Watch Sport clocking in at $399 and the main Apple Watch $599, it's a staggering premium even for Apple. And when you compare the price of the best Android Wear devices, $299 for the Sony SmartWatch 3 in steel or $349 for the LG Watch Urbane, it's hard to qualify exactly what you're getting for the extra money. Part of the appeal is the 340 x 272 pixels, 290 ppi screen, 390 x 312, 302 ppi for the 42mm one, and while it's not quite as sharp as the Samsung Gear S, it's one of the most vibrant we've seen from any smartwatch to date and shows off the deep color palette of watchOS. The bands themselves are the first true indicator that you have an Apple product on your wrist. The silicone feels reassuringly weighty, and the unique design means the excess strap slips through a hole, so you don't get that accidental flapping that's all too common with cheap watches. The straps are easily changeable using a typically Apple proprietary mechanism, but that means you can't use any old 22mm strap off the shelf, and Apple's straps are eye-wateringly expensive. Underneath is an optical heart rate sensor, which bulges from the rear, just out of sight. The whole thing is IPX7 rated, which means it's splash-proof, but not waterproof, meaning you can shower with it if you must, but don't take it for a swim. Two schools of thought have emerged in smartwatch design: less is more, which means filtering out digital noise, and more is more, which means giving you access to every conceivable feature. Answering the question "what does it do?" is a little like defining the iPhone. Yes, the Apple Watch is a smartwatch, but with the addition of its App Store, it can do anything developers decree. And that's really exciting. But for the benefit of the uninitiated, the watch connects to your iPhone, and is effectively impotent without it. It uses that wireless umbilical connection to display any notification from your phone, flashing up anything from texts to WhatsApp messages, tweets, Instagram likes, Gmail alerts, calendar reminders, annoying Skybet notifications, and pointless push messages. You can trim notifications and stop the less relevant ones from being displayed on your watch using the iPhone companion app, so in some way there is a filter. However, you can't dig further in and only allow messages from certain people or conversations onto the wrist. When notifications land on the watch, they're stored in a list, just like on the iPhone. Swiping down from the top enables you to recall them, and tapping one will open it up in full. This works well, but again, there's discrepancies in notifications. For all the 3,000 apps made for watch, there are no dedicated ones, yet, for Facebook, Gmail, or WhatsApp. That means for some notifications, Facebook in particular alerts just tell you something has happened. Gmail and WhatsApp messages can be read, at least in part, but you can't read messages in full or reply. While Apple has nailed the relatively easy task of getting notifications to your wrist, it does lag behind Google when it comes to preempting the information you need. We missed Google Now's cards, prompting you to go to your meeting, or telling you there's disruption on your way to work without you having to check manually. Apple's selection of apps will arguably make or break the Apple Watch, and like so many products before it, Apple has provided a platform for developers to run with, albeit with limitations. There are no dedicated Apple Watch apps, simply extensions to existing iPhone apps. The 3000 launch apps lineup is missing some big names, as mentioned, but there are already some fascinating apps. The Spy Watch game is fun even if it doesn't quite work properly. City Mapper is another favorite, and we loved the glance card to show London travel disruption, yet it has its own problems. Like Android Wear, voice is a big part of the Apple Watch, and of course, Siri is on board. You press and hold the digital crown to summon Siri, and then ask questions, schedule meetings, and the like. It works well, and the voice recognition works a treat, although the movement of bringing your watch closer to your mouth can annoyingly dismiss Siri again. Voice calling from the Apple Watch is also impressive, and in our test calls, recipients had no idea the call was made from the watch. The only complaint was that the built-in speaker wasn't loud enough, which made calls in the car an ideal time to use the watch hard to hear. Battery life has been widely panned on the Apple Watch, and of course, it depends on your expectations. Definitively, the battery life is one single day. In our testing we had no problems getting through the day, and generally went to bed with at least 20% of charge remaining. However, that means taking your proprietary charger everywhere. What's more, we're surprised that Apple didn't opt to integrate iPhone charging somehow, perhaps with a double USB plug. Now we must use up another socket next to the bed for the extra device, which could have been avoided with a little consideration. For anyone to buy a first-generation Apple product, you have to be a big enthusiast with money to burn, and the Apple Watch is no exception. If you're looking for the best smartwatch, this is certainly a front-runner along with the Sony SmartWatch 3, which boasts great sports features, the best of Android Wear but a distinct lack of X-factor. Sports fans should avoid the Apple Watch for now, or risk serious disappointment, but if you love your iPhone and want some of the best looking wearable tech on offer today, the Apple Watch is for you.